Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Dive In Pod. My name is Sheila.
My name is Lydia, and welcome back to a very interesting episode. We are going to be talking about societal standards of success. This is going to be so interesting, so
let's dive right in. Okay, today we're talking about societal standards of success, like Lydia said, and we just want to break it down, whereby we talk about how we used to define success in the past, and how we define it now, and how the society in general views success to be a successful person. So, Lydia, how do you define that success?
Success can be many things. I feel like success to me means contentment at whatever level of life I am at. So contentment for me is number one. I feel like just being able to be independent, not to depend on anybody, is a form of success to me. What about you?
Success, the definition of success has changed over time for me, I can say, because when I was young, I used to have goals, and I thought, after meeting those goals, that's it, I'm successful, and at the time, say for instance, when I was after high school, all I wanted to do was go to university and live in a bedsitter, like just have a little house where I have the, what do you call it, the gas, gas cooker, cylinder, like in the little TV, that was success for me. But over time it has changed. Like at the moment, I don't even have a definition of success in general. I just succeed in every little thing I do, and I'm like, wow, achieve that. Yep, next, on to the next, So that's where I'm at. Yeah,
I like that.
Okay, so we have the society's expectations, that are imposed on us. While trying to define success, So for some people, for us when we were young, parents used to be like, for you to be successful, you have to have finished university. You have to actually start at the beginning. You have to finish high school, and then you have to go to university. And
also there was this time where people could not really afford parallel uni. So you had to be called. And whatever you're being called,
regular.
The regular thing. Like if you're being called for like med and those fancy
courses,
maybe it's,
I'm gonna be a lawyer.
I know, So continue.
That's all right. So when you're when the society views success as that, and you have your own definition of success, it can be conflicting,
True.
And so today we want to break it down and just discuss the challenges that come with that conflict, come with that interest, whereby, say, your parents want you to be a doctor, you want to be a musician, your mom wants you to be a lawyer, you want to be a photographer. So those are the things that we want to talk about today. So there could be conflict, there could be conflict, especially if that is the case. So for instance, I have a friend who I went to uni with, and we went through the 3 years of nursing, and she had no passion, absolutely no passion for nursing. And she was a smart student. She still passed everything. But when we started practicing nursing, she just used to faint at work. Everything was just too much for her. And she ended up, the family was, the dad was like, wow, if you really don't want it and it's now affecting you, maybe it's a good idea to drop it. So she dropped nursing completely, and she's now doing photography, which is something she loved, and she's thriving. She's like a bridal wedding photographer. So I think that conflict can be so can negatively affect you, because you've wasted time, you've wasted money, but your parents wanted you to do it, so you're doing it for your parents. So I think it's so important that you're aware of that conflict that can come about. What do you think, Lydia?
I think that conflict could come out of the fact that, parents have this status quo. If the neighbor's child is a doctor, they're like, even you need to be a doctor. Or all of you need to be doctors. Or even me, I will not be the talk of the town and not have children who are not educated and doctors.
Yes.
So I feel like that
That is very common. It's very common. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like us as children also, we compare ourselves with the neighboring children, you know. We just compare ourselves. We're like, you know, oh, that person's son is a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or a nurse, and now you also want to be the same. And maybe that's just not what you want, you know. So you find yourself defining success based on another person's journey. You know, like, you know, that other person has become a nurse or a doctor, and you're like, for me to actually say I'm successful, I have to have finished uni, or I have to have gone abroad, you know, and things like that. So it's very common. And it's a conflict that can actually affect relationships, you know? Because if you, like this girl, that example that I just gave, she did nursing basically because she didn't want to have issues with the parent. But then at the end of it, she didn't actually, she didn't become a nurse, you know? So it's purely waste of 3 years and money.
Gosh.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
But then with that said, we know parents mean well.
Yeah.
They mean well.
100%.
I could say, I know people who, if it were not for their parents to push them to actually go to uni, they would not have been professionals at anything or have a career.
100%.
Some people don't even know what their passion is. And just because your parent has pushed you to do something, you kind of land at a good place and you just maneuver and go. So parents do mean well.
Or even you can just find yourself, it just grounds you. You know, you might not end up doing that career, but because they pushed you, you're now an educated person whom everybody would give a chance at anything. Doesn't have to be that specialty that you've done, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true.
So while we continue with this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friend to tell a friend. And please hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video from us. And we are so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay. We're now going to move on to just how to maneuver the conflict that can come about when you have your parents or, you know, the society telling you what they define success for you, what you define success for yourself, and also, you know, what your parents want you to be. Yeah. What can you say about that, Lydia?
I feel like the first thing you need to know is to just know yourself. Hold your own. Stand your ground. If you know how Katy Perry said, if you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. I feel like it's a good idea to just know who you are and stand firm in it. For example, there's this guy that I knew, we were in uni together. His dad kept telling him, you need to do business. It's the only thing that makes sense. Because his dad is a businessman. They own businesses everywhere. But he's like, you need to do business. That's the only way you will maneuver this life, blah, blah, blah. But he really wanted to do law. It was something that he really wanted. And thank God his dad gave him the shot, you know? Like, okay, do law. And he's thriving. He's done so well. I know people who've done law for 12 years. He did it 4 years, 6 years in total, plus law school, done.
Amazing.
Because he loved what he was doing. Yeah. So if you know who you are and what you stand for, stand your ground.
And from what Lydia has just said, it's just crossed my mind. A lot, like parents will impose consciously or unconsciously what a career, you know, whatever they're doing in terms of career,
or what
on
they've
their
had
children
works.
Yes, you know, if someone says, you know, if you come and do nursing in Australia, that's it, you know. Anybody who comes to Australia to be like, you're going for nursing, you know. Or even back home, they could just be like, you know, see, I'm a doctor and I'm thriving, I'm doing well, you should also become a doctor, you know. And it's could be conscious or unconscious, but it actually happens.
Yeah,
I even hear people who are talking to little kids and they're like, you know, this one will become a doctor like me.
Those ones, the pressure.
You know?
The pressure starts very early.
Yeah, you know, like look at him in the way he talks. This one is a doctor.
And those ones that run, this one will be a runner.
This one is Kipchoge.
My dad used to tell me that I used to run a lot. Like I used to do like track and, you know, athletics and all that. And my dad used to say, this is Janet Jepkosgei, this one. This one. Now I can't even run 100 meters.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, so don't push your children to be what you are. You know, it could be a good thing, but I think it could easily just make them think there's no other way out.
Right.
You know,
that's true.
Other than what you have taught them. Yeah. Another good thing to remind you to do when you're trying to be successful in the midst of all these conflicting opinions is just set your goals and set them small, you know, and
mini goals.
Yeah, achieve a little goal, celebrate that, move on to the next one. You know, like don't just be there and you know, you're like, I don't want to do what my parents want me to do, but at the same time, you don't even have a goal. You don't seem to have direction.
Right.
You know, and I think that's why even parents push children so much.
True.
Because if you look like you have a direction in your life, they're like, you know, give him a chance.
Most
or
of
give
them
her
would
a chance.
respect that.
Yeah. But then when you don't have you don't seem to have a path.
Right.
You're just there. They're like, this one, put them in law school. This one, watch Afanya education.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that have some goals that you've set and then work slowly and slowly.
True. And also just understanding that, you know, our parents come from a different generation, that they see things very differently, and that we're in a totally different time.
You know what that reminded me? I have I have someone close to me who education is everything.
Like being a
teacher. Like studying Bachelor of Education in a college nearby and going to teach in a school nearby is everything.
Wow.
Is success. And she will not, if you say, she's got the resources to either send the child abroad or whatever, but no, that is getting lost.
Wow.
You know, but that according to her, from her generation, it's like, no. You go and study at this university, become a teacher in this college. And that parent is so fulfilled. You know, they will be telling people, that is my daughter. She teaches in that high school. I'm not saying teaching is a bad profession. I'm just trying to say our parents have a different mindset. Or people from the past generation have a different definition of success. Success is just what they think it is. And it doesn't matter how times have changed and certain courses no longer, help you get employment. They will still push you to do it.
That's true.
So it's good to understand them. But at the same time, most importantly, educate your parents.
True.
Yeah, educate them, just say, look, Dad, times have changed. Everything is going, for instance, digital, maybe it's better to do IT than this or whatever. Don't just assume or don't just go with the flow, because they don't know any better. Yeah, and also, and if your parents give you that opportunity, make sure to just, stick to your goals, stay focused,
Be consistent.
Be consistent, because the example that you set will actually give them that trust, so if people do this other course, they can also thrive,
Yeah.
But then if you fail, they'll be like, you should have done education. Funza kwa hii college. Teach in this nearby college.
Give us a chance.
Give
us a chance. Failing is part of life.
Yeah.
Failing is part of life. And sometimes just trying to maneuver means trying different things and probably failing at them. Hopefully you'll not fail. But if you do, it's fine.
That's good, isn't it?
So another thing would be, instead of just having an idea that you keep voicing, actually implementing that idea and making it work. Remember, there's one episode, you guys should go back and watch our episodes. There's one that you said that you wanted to stop being a procrastinator.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is one thing that can really help someone maneuver this conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It can. You have to move from having an idea to actually actioning it.
We are a good example.
Yeah. The diving pod existed since
it exists. It's
2019.
Old. It's an old idea.
Yeah.
But
we are here now.
So
we've stepped into that zone.
Yes.
Yeah, you should too.
Yeah.
I feel like we should also talk about, how close relatives always feel like they have an opinion about your success. Like they feel like they can define success for you. Like I know we talk about parents and all, but I feel like sometimes our really close family, aunties, uncles, like they feel like should I say entitled? Like they feel like they actually can dictate what you become,
And they will actually inform your parents, like, hey, I'm taught, your son or, your daughter should do this and this and this, And if you speak up, sometimes it actually becomes really dramatic and disrespectful and all, And they're like, apana, kila mtu mwenye Australia, it's just nothing. We are not having this discussion. It's so bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah, because someone comes here and they enroll for a semester and they drop out. Right. And then they're like, mtoto wa nani hata kumaliza shule. But the truth is, they didn't want to do that.
They didn't. It wasn't their passion anymore.
It wasn't their passion, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. What other things should we talk about?
So another thing we need to talk about is the person that you should not be when trying to be somebody who is successful. Or when you're a successful person, the things that you should not do.
Yeah.
One, comparison. The thief of joy. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just comparing yourself to other people, saying, maybe someone buying a car, like I have a friend who, she bought a car and her, like, should I say her best friend because they always beef all the time? I don't know whether I should say it's her best friend, but her friend, right? Also just bought this car too. And then 2 seconds later, they are like, I don't know whether you can loan me a bit of money. Because they didn't financially plan, because they're comparing themselves to this person.
Competing too.
And even competing. In fact, that's another thing. Competing with somebody else,
It's very common.
It is.
I feel like comparison, I feel like comparison is a thing whereby you can actually find yourself comparing, even without like consciously saying, you find yourself thinking, these people have really achieved this and this,
right.
And I haven't achieved it, maybe I'm not successful, But competing, people just compete, like this person posted they've gone on holiday, we should go on holiday too, so we can post, that will show we are really doing well. This person's bought a car, like you said, I'm buying a car too, because you know what? We're gonna post the car and whatever, and social media. Hey.
The pressure. The pressure that comes with just social media itself. It's unbearable.
It is. Because a lot of people actually define their success based on we should talk about this too, based on the standard of the social media. You know how when you go to social media now, people's houses are so aesthetic and like they look like display homes. They don't look like people live in them.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to have one. But someone who is not even there yet.
Yeah.
Hey, they be sleeping hungry because they bought something that needed to post on Instagram. Just to show everyone, like, I'm thriving, I'm really doing well. So social media is a big influence when it comes to success.
It is. And it's so rare to find people who are authentic on social media. People who actually say, I actually couldn't afford this, guys. I went out and I checked it out and I just couldn't afford it. It was too expensive. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, I afforded that. That was good. It's such a good buy. Please go and buy it too. But in real sense,
they're just going beyond their means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
in the process of trying to show everyone I'm very successful.
Yeah. And with that said, try and be as authentic as possible. And it's
even in your success stages, like you can be like I said before, for me, I define success step by step, like we are trying to do this, we've achieved it. Okay, next. And you're like, wow, that was really good. We've achieved that. Let's get on to another one.
Exactly.
Don't push yourself too far.
Yeah.
And also, like we said before, set mini goals. Don't set big ones because then they look like they are too far.
Right.
To achieve. Yeah.
That's true. And then also another thing is don't compare your process to someone else's process. I heard somewhere that if I copy your process, it does not mean I will get the same results as you did.
No, it's just like a recipe.
Exactly.
You could give me a recipe for stew, whatever, and I go and do the exact same thing and it just doesn't turn out.
That's true.
Yeah,
So the result is it's not assured that it will come out the same as the other person. So have your own process.
Yeah.
Don't compare somebody else and don't copy what other people are doing also. Just find your own process of things
and trust it.
And trust it.
And stick to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Wow. Being a yes man.
Hey. Yo.
People pleasing.
Fanya nasi. Amalo. ama culinary arts, hata hiyo naweza fanya. Listen.
Business management, daktari,
nalo.
you're so funny.
I feel like your parents tell you, do this, you're like, yes. Your uncle comes by and says, I heard somewhere that if you do law, you're going far. I'm going to do that too. Trust me, you will be left there.
You'll just be hanging in between all those things.
Yeah,
Let me just use myself as a very good example. When I was just at the point whereby you choose a career, right? I was young after high school, used to be very talkative person. And, everyone used to be like, hey, well, utakuwa journalist. I was like, yeah. And my dad comes around and says, there was an event at high school, and I think there was some politician who came, and the principal was like, Sheila, can you talk about this? Can you present this? And I was like, yeah. And I actually did a good job. And then after that, everyone was like, ndio huyo matakarua. And then we went home. No, we didn't go home. My dad had come for the visiting. When I closed school and I went home, my dad was like, lawyer. And I was like, lawyer,
Yeah, those people.
Yeah, and then, I used to be very slender and like model, like, my body, I was very slender. So, models used to be very slender. There was no plus size, whatever, like now.
Inclusivity, yeah.
And my one of my aunties used to be like, hey. And I used to sing too, I love singing, you know. And my auntie used to be like, hey, huyu atakuwa wa fashion or atakuwa naimba. This one would be a musician. And I'm like, in fact, go for DJs. Like, don't be, but at that point, what I'm trying to say is, at that point, I didn't know any better, But then, I remember just before I went into my first course, my dad actually said something so important to me. He said, he didn't dismiss, God love him, he didn't dismiss any of the other things that I wanted to become. But this is what he said to me. You can't achieve all of them at the same time.
True.
He said...
That is so true.
He said, just do one thing. He said, do you want to be a lawyer, a musician, a journalist, a model? He said, just do one. He said, just do one thing. Ukimaliza hiyo, you will do the other one,
Right.
Which, obviously he's my dad, so he knew that after doing that, I'll be mature enough to actually know what exactly I want to do.
Exactly.
So I think it's so important that you're just not a people pleaser,
right.
And take your time and listen, so that you can be able to choose what you are passionate about, rather than what people want you to do.
Right.
Yeah. And, and you can define success however you want to define it. If success for you means, going to college and starting your own business, good for you, If success means going abroad and studying and doing PhD and getting, Dr. Lydia, good for you,
That's it.
You should always remind yourself that, like Lydia said, be true to yourself.
True.
At the end of the day, this is your life. It is no one else's,
True.
If you do something to please me or please, the world or social media or your parents, or your aunties and uncles, siblings, relatives, they're not going to live in your shoes,
Right.
You're the one who's just going to live and go into that career that you didn't want to. So, and it's never too late to change.
It's for sure.
Yeah, it's never too late to change. If you want to change your careers, go for it.
True.
If you want to change your life, just change it. Yeah, nothing is permanent.
For the people pleasers out there.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying yes, and if you really cannot say no, just say, I'll think about it.
I like that. Yeah.
You're not saying no.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there are people who, when you say no, they're like,
offended.
Did you say no? Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
But just say, I'll think about it.
Yeah. That gives you time, actually.
gives
and then
you
you'll be
time.
like, well, because of my answer is no.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But please move out of the people pleasing bit of things.
Yeah, I think, people pleasing and the society standards really go hand in hand. Because you want to please, you just want to say yes because that's what people want
Exactly.
to hear.
Yeah. But this life is yours. Yeah. It's yours. Be authentic. Authentic as you can be. Yeah.
Okay.
That's been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, in another life I would be, Janet Jepko's gay, but it has not worked, and I'm grateful where I am.
In another life, I would be doing the Renaissance tour. I'll be the big
Your tickets would be sold
out. I would be coming to Australia, but B is not coming to Australia.
Yeah,
Anyway,
guys, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Alrighty.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned a thing or two. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And when our videos drop, please watch, take videos, and send it to us. We love that.
Tag us.
Yeah, and tag us. Find us on our socials at Being Mama Tori.
At Lydia_Shafa_Toro.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye.